I've learned a long time ago that you can never predict or have comments on what the league decides. It's their job. They have a criteria in which they stick to, and they have some points, and they brought those out that they felt it was deserved, and the points that they make are things that you either could agree with or disagree with, but the decision has been made, and you move forward. You accept it, and you move on.
Is 11-6-1 indicative of a resilient hockey club given the suspensions and the injuries to your team?
I think, again, we're testing it, that's for sure, and we've put a lot of pressure on a lot of people to keep ourselves above water, really. And we'd like to, become more consistent with our lineup, and due to injury, suspensions, and whatnot, we've been dealt a difficult hand. And those are the things that we talk about, and we revisit on a constant basis, that we can't continually put ourselves under pressure and put strain on your lineup night in, night out. But right now we're going to focus on tonight, and our focus is the first period. And we're going to play six periods of hockey against a hockey club that's went through some transition and a coaching head coach and a general manager, and I'm sure their players feel revived and are looking to make a good first impression.
Randy, Kadri has always been effective when he plays with an edge. How do you teach a young guy where the line is and where it isn't?
Again, I think that the situation the other night was really like twofold. There was two events, and everybody was focused on the Granlund hit. And in reviewing the Granlund hit, I don't know if he should be, held accountable to a high hit in that area. The game is a contact game, and he made contact with the player's shoulder. The player has his head down, and now the rules seem to have changed. From you got to be responsible when you're delivering a check. Before, the rules were you had to be responsible to get your head up when you're out there, and obviously head shots are something that have drawn attention, and that's in a positive. But in another source, I think that there has to be some responsibility borne on the player that keep your head up out there and don't put yourselves in vulnerable positions. But again, when they make contact with the goalie, I think that the temperature of that has changed over the last 2 years, and I guess there was an incident in this building with Lucic making contact with Miller before, and then I think it was Tutu that had made contact with Miller. So I think that's a mandate that's come down from the general manager level and the ownership level, that the contact with the goalies is something that has to be addressed, and that's what they're doing.
You said that you still want them to play that aggressive style?
Well, we don't want them running goalies over.
No.
That's as simple as I can put it. I think it's a physical game, and the players have to make adjustments accordingly, but at times it is more difficult than what it seems. That a player, it is supposed to be a physical game that you're allowed to body check people, but we've got to again revisit what's an illegal body check, because the ground rules have changed, obviously.
Randy, if your theory as a coach is one that leaders lead by consistency, who's led your club as you've searched for that consistency night in, night out?
Well, I don't look at it as one guy. I think that's unfair to when you play a team game. I think you try to do is you try to make sure that you have a group in there that is responsible for getting your players, and rallying your group inside the room. It's a great sign for coaches when players take ownership, and that's what we're striving to do is to have your group take more ownership and responsibility and accountability of what's going on the ice surface. And we've visited that, and we will continue to visit it as every team does.
Randy, do you ever recall a scenario like this in your career where you've had three centermen, your top three centermen, out of the lineup for any reason?
No, I'd have to say this is a new one, and again, that's what coaching brings you experiences, and your experiences you can never predict. As we say, you have plan A, B, C, and D in the drawer, and I think we're at E and F right now.
The fact he's been referred to as the best player in the Marlies when he's down, does that illustrate the character of him as well?
Well, again, Smitty's been a guy that was with us before, and he's played very well down in the American Hockey League, and our organizational trait has been, and it will continue, the best players that are playing down there are going to get an opportunity when it's needed up here. And we can't expect Trevor Smith to come up and put him on our fourth line. It's unfair to him at this situation. When we had other people, ahead of him, we had Bozak, we had Boland. It's a little bit different. But in today's situation, he's going to play a prominent role with an offensive line.